You might know him as the Flamethrower Fox, or Fix-It Felix, or maybe even the Flying Fox on Fire. But to most, he's just Felix, the frontline fire starter. And if you like to play a hunter that is aggressive, high damage, and fueled by chaos, then this is the hunter for you. Today, I'm going to break down what makes Felix so fun, some tips on how to play him, and my preferred items for burning down the breach. So you're thinking to yourself, why Felix? Well, when playing Felix, you don't think, should I go in? You just go in and you bring the whole enemy squad with you. He's got a dive, he's got a pool, and a flamethrower. What more could you want from a flaming fox? Also, he's one of the easiest hunters to pick up. With his flamethrower, even if your aim isn't on point, his consistent burn will be sure to have some effect. But don't let that fool you. There's a huge gap between a new Felix and one that actually knows what they're doing. The good ones don't just run in, blow all their abilities, and die. Although it is tempting to just ult into the enemy team as soon as you see them on the edge of your screen. A little patience goes a long way with this hunter. Alright, now before we get into some tips on how to play Felix, should do a rundown on his abilities, starting with his passive. It's called Ignite, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Every time you hit someone with Felix's flamethrower or one of his abilities, you stack up this burn effect, and once it maxes out, they ignite. Once ignited, they take damage over time, which is good for burning squishies and tanks alike. It rewards you for staying on target. The longer you keep someone in the flames, the more Ignite will stack up to 2 stacks, which allows you to burn through the whole enemy team. You can light up one guy and then move on to the next. Next is Felix's primary weapon, the flamethrower. Feels really nice to use, it doesn't have a reload, and it just melts. But you do have to make sure you're staying on target, don't just flail it around. And now for his basic abilities. His right-click ability is called Embry Bolt. It's a long-range bolt. It's good for tagging enemies at a range, and it's also good for applying the second level of Ignite if your target is already burning. For Felix's dash ability, we have Pyro Pounce. This ability deals damage and applies Ignite when you hit a target with his dash, and it comes with 2 charges, making it great for engaging and repositioning. Now, for his bread and butter, my favorite ability of his is Heat Shield. This ability pulls in enemies around Felix, dealing damage, applying Ignite, anti-heal, and gives Felix a shield if he pulls in at least one enemy. And the shield gets bigger for every additional hunter you pull in. And last, but definitely not least, his ultimate ability, Flight of the Firefox. With this one, Felix goes airborne, dashing through targets and leaving a trail in his wake. The trail of fire deals damage, applies Ignite, and slows enemies that walk through it. Felix is a monster on the breach. He's fantastic at locking down teams. Now that you have an idea of what Felix does, let's go ahead and get into his armory setup. I can't actually tell you what's best on him, but I've found what I think to be a pretty good setup. This is what I like to run for his grips. My favorite are the Gorger Talons. It gives them 10% Omnivamp, and Overhealing is converted into a shield. This gives them great sustain off camps and sustain in fights. Next grips I like to use are the Chrono Gauge. They give you ability haste. This is just great on all bruisers. You get to use your abilities more. Now for the relics I like to run. My favorite is Wildfire Drive. It adds fire damage to the end of your dash, which has a great synergy with Felix already lighting the hunters on fire. I just thought you might as well bring some fire for your fire. Then the next relic I like to use is called Last Bite. It gives you a burst of Omnivamp and increased healing when you hit 60% HP. I like it because it baits enemy teams into thinking they're melting you when actually you're about to melt them. Now for my kicks, I like to switch between a couple of different options. Lately, I've been really liking the bloodless boots. They're really good. If you want to play aggressive, they give you move speed in combat when hitting an enemy with your primary weapon. Another good pair of shoes are the Face Striders. They're great. They're great for mobility and repositioning as they give you bonus move speed and bonus haste on your dash ability. This setup leans into what Felix already excels at, which is diving, sticking to targets, and surviving way longer than he should. Alright, now talking about some real gameplay, here's some tips for the Felix gamers. Felix works best when you can commit to a fight. He likes to dash in, keep everyone close, and burn them with his flamethrower and ignite passives. If you do it right, they don't even get to react, but it's still important to manage cooldowns with Felix and to be careful not to just blow your whole kit before your team is even committed. Picking the right target is crucial. You don't want to just dive in and heat shield the first hunter you see when you could have got the entire squad. Now with this Omnivamp setup, you're amazing at long drawn out fights, but don't overstay. Even Felix can't 1v6 forever. Utilizing your 2 dashes for maneuvering around a fight is important, and there are also multiple ways to use your ult. Don't think of it as just as an engage tool. It can also be used to zone squishies from the front line, and we know Felix thrives in the chaos. Now Felix is one of those characters that just feels good to play. He has instant impact, a flashy kit, and a lot of room to show off. You can go full chaos mode, carry fights, or just run around pulling people into infernos. Either way, it's a good time. You're a firefox. Not only that, he also teaches the basics, when to engage, how to pressure, and how to punish overextending. But most importantly, he's fun. Pure explosive flame-throwing fun. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. You can also catch me streaming on twitch.tv/riverlad. And remember, if you can't take the heat, well, you probably just got pulled into it. Peace.